Tom Abel made an excellent 95 on his first-class debut to deny Warwickshire from taking control of their important LV County Championship top-of-the-table clash with Somerset in Taunton. The visitors began the second morning on 334 for 9, and it took the home attack until the 10th over to finally finish the innings off, after Ricardo Gordon was the latest of many to be dropped, this one off the second ball of the day. On the first one, Ian Westwood was one of several to be given a life win on 24, and he added 105 more runs to that before he was out, while this last pair of Gordon and Oliver Hannon-Dolby put on another 33 runs after that miss, eventually taking their partnership for the last wicket to 62. Hannon-Dolby's previous highest score was 13, yet he went on to make 40 here, and even had the confidence to pull Craig Overton for a 6. Alfonso Thomas finally ended the frustration for his team when Hannon-Dolby went on the pull again, but picked out Abel in the deep as Warwickshire were all out for 367 after being put in on this green pitch. The visitors didn't drop the chances they were offered in the field, Varun Chopra holding on to this edge to get shot of Marcus Trescothick for 9 as Hannon-Dolby's fine day continued. The Somerset skipper was on his way with 13 runs on the board, but Johan Myberg then made steady progress, working the ball to leg especially well. In 9 overs he added 42 runs to the board with Nick Compton steadying himself at the other end. Warwickshire are having an exceptional season in all 3 competitions in spite of a long injury list. That has given Richard Jones a chance, and he did a fine job, first by having Myberg snapped up by Chopra. Myberg was on his way for 26, swiftly followed 2 balls later by Compton, who dragged a ball from Hannon-Dolby back onto his stumps. So, debutant Abel was in just before lunch, these being the first runs of the 20-year-old local boy's first-class career. He showed just how good he is after the break with this cultured back-foot drive for 4 off Jones, which would have certainly settled any nerves. The youngster actually held the innings together for a while after James Hildreth was surprised by the pace and bounce of Jones to top edge a half pull to Hannon-Dolby with a total on 98 for 4. That became 121 for 5 when Alex Barrow was caught at short leg by Westwood off Jitan Patel. It was 128 for 6 as Peter Trigo nicked a pumped-up Jones behind, the former Worcestershire bowler finding some real pace around the wicket. There was soon talk of a follow-on when Overton found Jonathan Trott off Patel to go for 16, with the total now on 153 for 7 and Somerset in big trouble. So Lewis Gregory decided to fight fire with fire after tea, taking on Patel with this maximum, while Abel, growing in confidence with each minute at the crease, continued to impress. In his career in the Taunton School First 11, he hit 1700s and averaged 193 with the bat in his final year 2 summers ago. Like Joss Butler before him, Abel was named Young Wisden Schools Cricketer of the Year, and he's also recently struck a double 100 for the Somerset Seconds, so raising his bat as he did here after getting to a 50 off 134 balls must be second nature to him. Gregory, not too old himself, celebrated for his younger partner by smashing 2 sixes in the next 2 overs off both Patel and Ricky Clark, both huge hits by an all-rounder who's come on leaps and bounds with a bat in his hands this season. Abel had found the boundary only 3 times in his maiden half-century, but with that now achieved, he too began to open up, as these two started to get on Warwickshire's nerves. Their vital partnership was into the 50s and then moved on, as any thoughts of enforcing a follow-on disappeared quickly for the visitors. In the end, these two added 84 runs for the 8th wicket in only 15 overs, Gregory blasting 47 off 51 balls. It was perhaps inevitable that an attacking shot would bring about his downfall, a pull off Jones finding Gordon, but the total had by now moved on to 237 for 8, with a deficit standing at 130. 26 more were added before Thomas was bowled by a sharp turner from Patel, who may have a bigger role to play in the 4th innings of this match. Abel was on 87 when last man George Dockrell joined him, the Irishman sticking around for 5 overs to try to help his partner get to a remarkable 100. Abel was just 5 short of becoming the first Somerset-born player to get to 3 figures on debut since 1935, when he turned Patel to Will Porterfield at mid-wicket. It was still some knock, and you can expect to see a lot more of Tom Abel. Thanks to him, Somerset got to 286 to trail on first innings by 81 runs, one more being added to that before stumps were drawn, leaving all to play for in the second half of this enthralling match.